All right, I have Dave Nichols here from Automation Resource Group. Where are you sitting right now?
I'm sitting in Portland, Oregon.
Maybe just give a quick description of your company, how old it is, how many people.
Okay, sure. My company's Automation Resources Group. We've been around close to 10 years, 10 years about 6 months from now. So that's a big milestone for us. We're 7 people. Most of us are engineers. We also have a customer service person, and we're just partially distributed team, and we're spread out here on the West Coast.
Awesome. So first question I have for you is, what factors did you consider before you had hired a Freescale, and why did you pick us?
Why did I pick Freescale? Well, one reason I picked Freescale, I mean, we've been a company for a long time. We kind of have a startup feel, even though we're 10 years old, which is a little strange, but we're always looking for new things to learn, new ways to get better, to grow the business. We worked with a number of different types of coaches and consultants over the years, either at specific functions like sales, various things like that. But what we realized as we worked with those people was we had to sort of dig deeper and deeper into what we were doing until we really had this core understanding about what we're doing. And so working with Freescale has really helped us get all the way to starting with just what are our goals and what are we trying to accomplish here. We really had to go all the way back to that in order to move forward. And so that's been really awesome. One of the reasons I like working with Rich.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the kind of things that have happened since you started your engagement with us. On a company level, maybe start with that.
Sure. So one of the ways that I describe what we're doing, or the way that we worked before, was we just sort of we were in this mode that was just purely intuitive. It was just bashing ahead. Anything that came up, we would just plow straight into it. And so it was just pure instinct, and that we were really effective doing that to grow the company from being nothing to being a real company. But we started to realize these limits in the scale of that. And so that's why, really taking, really sort of becoming a grown-up company, I think was what working with a very specific plan and starting from, what are we trying to accomplish here? What are our goals on a long term? That was something that we needed to do after a while, because we started to hit a ceiling with the sort of purely intuitive approach. It helped to bring in people that had experience building companies, had experience doing things like marketing and managing instead of just, our background, which is that we're mostly engineers. So we had to learn all of our business and management skills on the streets.
So in your role as CEO, how has that evolved over this process as well?
It's been interesting. I feel like I use this term sort of like we became a grown-up company, and I feel like now I can tell you there were certain things that we had to work through and certain things that we were either neglecting or just not good at or didn't know how to do, that now really every quarter I can sit down and I can drop 20 pages in front of the advisory board and say, here's exactly what's going on, here's exactly what we accomplished, and here's what we're doing next. I mean, that's really the work and the job of being a CEO that I'd say wasn't getting the same kind of attention that it was before. So that really helped me, learn new things about how to really be running the company as opposed to just doing the job or, being an engineer, which is my natural background.
Right. How about from the perspective of along the way, what surprised you about the process? What weren't you expecting to happen that happened?
I think I've stopped being surprised by this now because I've accepted it, but it's been very interesting to learn year after year. You can get to know yourself and who your company even really better than you did before. If you had asked me to articulate what we do and who we are 5 years ago, my answer would be one thing. And now I'd say it's much more refined. And we're really clear about who we are and what we do in a way that we weren't before. And that's really the work I'm talking about that I think makes us better, sort of more potent when we talk to people and say, this is really what we're about. That really comes through. And so I hope to have even further realizations that will make it even clearer. You know, I mean, it's like that sort of taking that time to go back and think and really take time away from just the day to day to say, like, what are we really about? Why, you know, what is our company's purpose? Taking the time and investing in that has really been valuable. You know, when we come back and do the day-to-day work.
Awesome. How about the rest of your team, especially the folks on the leadership team? How has this affected them in their work and their progress?
I think one of the things with the rest of with all of us, but especially the rest of the team, is just clarity about what is the job, what are we trying to do here, both on a like big picture, like multi-year scale, but also like, what do we need to accomplish this quarter and who's responsible for what, right? Like that was never something that was clear to us before, when we were just kind of doing whatever, whatever we felt we needed to do. When you have that kind of approach where you're coming back quarter after quarter, you can really build something, instead of sort of getting excited about something for a week and then, forgetting about it or getting distracted by something else. It really helped us get everybody moving in the same direction.
Awesome. So we've been working together for probably getting close to 3 years, I think.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, give a sense to, what kind of return on investment have you gotten out of this process?
Wow. It's interesting because, I imagine sort of what we're doing now versus having done nothing. Right. And I think, I wonder if we'd still be a company now if we hadn't grown in this way, if we hadn't really made that kind of investment. So like, when I think about ROI in that sense, it seems quite high. I mean, it's really helped us move forward, and that's like, that's extremely high. I mean, it goes beyond just, P&L or net income. What we're able to do and how strong of a company that we are now, I think has everything to do with this kind of work we've been doing with Freescale.
So thank you very much. That's nice. When you think about, what are the top 3 experiences that you've had since inside of our engagement? If you think back, we've had a lot of quarterly planning sessions now. There's been a lot of phone calls. So we've had, a couple dozen quarterly planning sessions. We've had many monthly phone calls. What sticks out in your head as like, pivotal moments or things that just are seminal things?
We've had enough. We've been working together long enough now that we've seen some things really play out over a long time. Like we've learned a lot together. But one thing that pops out for me is just going all the way back to the beginning, and which was, your prompt. I want you to do this painted picture exercise that outline what your life is going to look like in detail 3 years from now, and it's been about 3 years. So
about 3 years. How close are you to that picture?
Pretty close. In fact, it's kind of scary, and a little bit creepy. But I mean, I have a business partner. We're equal partners in the company, and Rich's approach was, okay, I'm interrogating you separately. Don't talk to each other. I want you to both write down, what you want to, what you're trying to do here. And so to sort of sit down, to really go all the way to that core of what we're trying to do was like a really important exercise. It's still something that we work on and think about a lot. My answer would be different now than it was then, but that was like really important. And, also early on, one of the things we got together and sort of went through the sort of 1-page business plan, core values, those exercises of, let's take what we've kind of organically grown and let's take what's in all of our heads and really put that down on paper.
Right.
And that's a really powerful thing. Like it wasn't something that we were creating from scratch. We were distilling it out of the company, right? I mean, we had been a company at 5 years at that point, and we had a lot of, culture and like really strong opinions about who we are and what we were doing, but we had never taken the time to reflect and really write it down. And when we did that, I think it was really powerful for the team internally, and also like really reinforced a lot of those values that were important in our company already. Right. I mean, we already knew, it really helped sort of define who we were. The third one is just, I'd say all of the kind of interesting drama that comes out of really working hard and like not allowing things to, or really confronting, the big hairy, the elephant in the room, so to speak. And there have been major hirings, there have been major departures. I mean, these are real things, but it's always like, instead of just letting them, drag on or whatever, we really just went right into it and dug into it. And I think we've accomplished a lot that way, but there have been some major sparks flying at various meetings.
The goal, if it needs to happen, it would be nice if you didn't have to, but it does.
Right. You got to work it out.
Mm-hmm. So kind of in the spirit of the painted picture thing, if you project it out 12 months from now, what are you hoping to accomplish by working with us in this next year?
One of the things I hope to accomplish the most is sort of like we've grown as a company a lot over, in the last few years that we've been working together and really going back to the beginning, starting from zero. And one of the things that I like the most is sort of the degree to which working in this environment really keeps us honest, because it's Rich's job and Freescale's job to not be impressed by our excuses and stories. And it's like, as somebody who's sort of leading a company, as much as your team, isn't going to talk to you straight, that you're still the boss. And so to come into a place where you really have to step up, because you're paying, you're working with Rich to a coach to hold you accountable. And, it's something that you might be able to skate by on, with any other audience of customers, employees. It's like, hold on, stop. Like, let me ask you a couple of questions about that. And knowing that that's the standard, really helps you be thoughtful about, is this excuse going to hold up? Like, is this explanation going to hold up to Rich? Because, I don't, I need it to be strong. That's my standard now. And so, I hope that continues, because that really is a good motivator. I mean, another year from now, I hope you're still asking those same kinds of questions about, what's the thinking there, or explain to me how this is going to go, and really helping make us better in that way.
I don't know any other way.
Right.
So, if someone's watching this, they're considering working with us. And so if you're speaking to them, if they, what would be the signs that would tell them that this is the right fit or the wrong fit, for that matter, for, based on your experience?
My experience of that question is, you don't have to, you don't have to do this, right? You don't have to really dig deep and go there. Like we could have sort of continued along doing what we were doing, and we would have been fine. I mean, what you're signing up for is hard work. And if that sounds good, if that's like, yes, like I want to work, I want to do this, then, and that's true. If that's really true inside, then I think that's helpful, because this is not it's not something you do to kind of have somebody tell you you're awesome. You're working with Rich to help make you better. So if that sounds good, then great. That's a good fit. If you're like, yeah, I want to have the outcomes I want, but I don't want to work hard, then don't bother.
I don't want them either.
Save the time. Save yourself the time. Yeah, exactly.
Save yourself the time.
And suffering. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other parting thoughts?
No, I really appreciate working with you, Rich, and happy to help out in any way I can. So
thanks.
To return the favor.
Thank you.